Yo, I put it like wow, this that sound. These oaks don't work hard like me, I hope they know by now. Bayo Bab, stand my ground. Bro, these money trees go overseas like Percy Tau. I'll make sure you stay around. Quiet when I'm under loud. No negatives allowed. Me and positivity took a vow. I always play to win. Don't anticipate loss. Mind always in the clown, my boy. Never think about the drop. Never ever ever think about the drop.
Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. Conveniently, I am actually MKT. So I'm in the right place. You're in the right place. The only sports show to be on. It is awesome. It's Thursday. We're in the Republic of South Africa. And they say only boring people talk about the weather. But let me tell you, the reality is the weather is back now. We're in spring already. This is the curtain raiser because the birds are back. The grass is greener, slightly greener. We're on the way to better times. Sun's out, buns out, sun's out, guns out, Senzo Setebe. Your thoughts on that, pal?
What's happening, my brother?
How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, thanks.
That weather, Ingati, we're getting...
You know, the layers are slowly
You
getting
know?
less and less.
Yeah, I'm saying, my man.
Hey, then we're seeing if people... We're getting DAC for VAC, bro.
Let's talk about something quickly that I said to people, and people are in their fields about it. I say... I don't want to go to pool party because we have to be honest. I don't want to go to a pool party where there's too many black people because we don't swim.
Exactly.
Because guys are out here on this by the side of the pool with the latest sneakers and that the sash bag that every road man has now. Yeah, what I'm saying, my man. So your thoughts on me saying that? I say white people and black people need each other because the white guys, they're gonna get you in the pool. We're at a pool party. Yeah, what I'm saying.
But also you misunderstand. White people.
Yeah.
They love to burn themselves with the sun. So that's why the pool's needed. For black people, it's for the aesthetic.
For swag.
You know what I'm saying?
So I know, but we need each other. So a little bit of swag doesn't hurt at the party because some white guys can.
But don't over-swagulate.
No, don't over. That's why I say not too many black people, not too many white people. Otherwise, it becomes a swimming gala. I also don't want to be at a swimming gala.
Honestly.
Yeah, what I'm saying, my man. So we need each other.
And as black people, after we've touched water,
yeah.
Now you're asking your mate for cream, and
you know what I mean?
People don't tuss.
Plus in there, now I have to go comb my hair. So we've got different challenges. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I feel you, dude. How you feeling? I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling great, my man.
That is awesome.
Great.
Hey, we got plenty to talk about today. Cristiano Ronaldo, tell you why he must move. The rumor is out. I said it. Everybody laughed at me. I told you that George Mendes is the guy, and this is the reason. I'll tell you why he must move. We'll talk about Arsenal again, is that, they got problems. Have they solved any of them with their signings? Maybe, maybe not. Got a brand new feature coming to you from the American part of the world, the North part in particular. We have a great feature with a basketball aficionado. So looking forward to bringing Kerry Keating to you a little bit later. And then, of course, the socials and much, much more. This is the MKT Show. Remember, you can get it on Spotify, cliffcentral.com, or the cliffcentral app if you want to get the podcast. So much coming up today. It's all coming up after this.
Yes, sir.
You have returned to a deliberate decision. What do you think of that one? You have returned to a deliberate decision.
You're inceptioning them.
You know what I'm saying? Is you've made the call. I'm not saying if it's a good or a bad decision.
You're hitting them with a little bit of psych there.
Yeah, what I'm saying, my man.
Deliberate decision.
Yeah.
No, but I'm supposed to be...
No.
You're going to get people questioning themselves, having an inner conflict.
Choose my kettle. Dude, I wanted to talk about Ronaldo, but before we got into it,
Sure.
I think when I wanted to talk about it, remember when I think it was you, Paulo, I don't know if James was in the mix at that stage,
Yeah.
but when I said Ronaldo has to move, this was way
Yeah.
before anything came out, and now it's, I mean,
Now it's time to be the bad. When you're talking now it's time to be the bad guy. George Mendes, this is where you earn your real commission. Yeah, that's what you said.
because, you know, for the first time in his career,
Mm-hmm.
I think Mendes with Ronaldo is going to have a little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
He's probably made him $100 million plus, right? In terms of all the business they've done together. And I'm being really conservative. Here's the time for the first time, Ronaldo needs you now. Because Ronaldo's never needed George Mendes.
Yeah.
I mean, in the sense that he's never been a problem per se. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the product, the product's always spoken for itself, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, maybe before we get into it, what are your thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo? I mean, like, you're a United fan,
Yeah.
but you're a football lover. I mean,
Yeah.
your thoughts on Ronaldo before I get into my thoughts on why he must move?
This speaks to Ronaldo's competitive nature. He's not satisfied. You know what I mean? You'd have said, no, I'm at Juve, let's peter it out. Nah, for the first time, he feels like, you know what, I'm not in the right situation, to go win and challenge for things. Because he's used to that.
Yeah.
He's used to being the alpha.
That's such a good point. Is also what it tells you is the self-awareness of Cristiano Ronaldo. To your point, I think you're making such a brilliant point there. Is that most of us are not Jeff Bezos. Most of us want to work at Amazon. Most people don't want to start an Amazon. They want to go and work at them.
Exactly.
By the way, Buffett said it. It's not better or worse. Buffett has a great 3-tier layer in business. He calls it finders, minders, and grinders.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that they're better, but Cristiano Ronaldo is the Jeff Bezos mentality of it is never good enough. To own Amazon, to be Cristiano Ronaldo, to be Leo Messi, it's never good
There's
enough.
always a tomorrow.
Juventus might see themselves and say, we're a massive club. Cristiano Ronaldo goes, what have you done for me lately?
They didn't put pieces around him. It's just been symbolic.
And that's not good enough. You've really, really nailed it. It speaks to Cristiano Ronaldo's competitive mentality.
Still hungry.
And how old is he now?
36.
Every time I hear about this guy, I love him more. I didn't think I could love Cristiano Ronaldo more, but you've made me love this guy more somehow.
As you say, the guy takes himself seriously. Have you seen the Ronaldo movie, docufilm? You must watch it.
CR7, huh?
You must watch it.
I have not seen it. All right, let me give you my thoughts on why he has to move, and we'll round it up. So, you know what? Psychology is quite brutal. But there's a model for thinking, right? And it's difficult. We live in the country we live in. People live where they live. But it's something I've always thought to be true. So I'll use my own family. I'm quite clear where I stand in terms of intelligence in my family. So my father's a chemical engineer. I think he's doing it. He's certainly the second. My sister's an actuarial scientist. She's the smartest person in the family. My mother's a doctor, so she's the third most intelligent. And with an undergrad, I'm right at the bottom, right? I'm right at the bottom, and it's quite easy. And we can measure IQ. It's not about emotional intelligence. IQ is very measurable, and we can measure intelligence with decisions. But something I've always held to be true is that taking an average child and putting them in a dumber class does not make the average child smarter, right? Because when you take that average child and you put them in a lower class, sorry to say it in a crass way, but in a dumber class, they look smarter. They aren't smarter. They look smarter because of who you're comparing them to. And when you are an A student, you wouldn't accept that. Cristiano Ronaldo, to Senzo's point, is telling you that Juventus, it ain't good enough. I shouldn't be in this class. I want to be in the A class. And let me tell you how I know this. So I know somebody who graduated at Harvard Business School with an MBA. And he went and worked at his cousin's startup straight away, and he left in 3 months. They were close. And I said to him, what happened? There's money there. You guys are good. It's a good business. And he said, no. I want to count in billions. They still talking about millions. So when you leave Harvard, you're not leaving Harvard to go and work for $1 million company. You're going to work at Fannie Mae, at Merrill Lynch, That's where you're going to work. Otherwise, you could just go to the university I went to, where all the stupid people go like me, and you can earn R1 million a year. He says, I want to count in billions. Cristiano Ronaldo should not be in the Serie A. And I'll tell you why, is Ronaldo has to realize that greatness is so rare. What Ronaldo is, and he does realize this, is that he may be once in a forever, in a species kind. Not once in a lifetime, once in a species kind. Talent and motivation. Those two are together. It is impossible to find. And before we move on to the football side of things, I say this all the time. Date in your class. If you're an 8, date an 8. If you're a 5, date a 5. Be a grown up and realize what you are, where we all fit. Right? If you're a 9, stop dating 4s. I'll tell you why. Because the 4 will always be uncomfortable and the 9 is always pandering like you're carrying an egg that's going to break. That's what's going to happen to Cristiano Ronaldo. Because all the time Juventus are walking on eggshells. That's not a relationship. And in business, you have no time to say sorry while you're at work. You can say your sorries afterwards. In business, if you want to win, it is ugly in the trenches. When Cristiano Ronaldo points at the lack of a centre-back, a right-back, a central midfielder on the field, that's a problem. You know what Juventus said? Nothing. It makes the whole team worse because you say, hey, how can you let him talk to me like that? Which he should actually be able to do because at Real Madrid, he will talk to Ramos like that. No problem. And we lift the whole place. Ronaldo talks to Juventus as it is now. These youngsters coming through, it's a whole different thing. 8s should date 8s. 10s like Cristiano Ronaldo's should date 10s. He should be at Manchester City, at Manchester United, at Chelsea. He should be in the Premier League. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and everybody said I was crazy. Folks, in life, mistakes happen. But you know what you have to be able to do as a grown-up? Fix it. When you make a mistake, the most grown-up thing you can do, and trust me, I have made hundreds, and I've made already 20 or 30 today. When you make a mistake, I've made a mistake. Cristiano Ronaldo is in a situation where he's in a very, very unusual situation. For the first time in his career, for the first time ever, Cristiano Ronaldo has made a misstep in his career. For the first time ever, it's never happened. It has never ever happened. If you come from a home where there's never been divorce, your parents are great, your family is great, and your girlfriend breaks up with you, it feels like the world's falling apart. And I'm pretty sure that's where Ronaldo is right now. Because he's never made a mistake. He has never made a misstep. He has never gone to the wrong club. He has always moved at the right time. He's been at the 2 biggest clubs of all time at the perfect time. And now he's in a mess. And people from Harvard don't know what to do when the printer doesn't work. They don't know what to do. They don't understand why there's no internet at the office. They don't understand why the roof's leaking. So for Ronaldo's sake, he now, as Senzo said, he has to let George Mendes be George Mendes. Now the ugly side of being an agent, and it will come out because I understand that the offer has been put in to say around 25, 30 million. Man City, he can be yours. I'm not sure if he will be, and the Sky News wouldn't just be making this one up. Ronaldo has not said I'm not moving. He said stop talking about transfers that may not be true, is what I read there. If you don't believe me and you still believe in Serie A, because everyone who thinks they're cool, it's like, nah, Serie A, you don't understand. It's because you only watch Premier League. Are you aware that in the last 10 seasons, Italy has not won the Champions League? 10 seasons.
That's what I was going to say to you, because look at what's happening around him. Because when he got to Juventus, he was like, okay, maybe I can elevate these guys, to go get that Champions League.
Yeah,
they're already winning the Serie A. Like that's
it's the Juventus invitation.
That's given.
Yeah,
that's given.
Yeah,
but what okay, we'll see after a season or 2. Let's give this thing 3 years, right? After the 3rd year, they've gotten worse. If you see the Champions League, the only outsider that is constantly there, and I'm talking from like either Spain or England, is Bayern Munich. Other than that, it's Spanish and English dominated. And
Ronaldo must now know. And I really don't mind people that make mistakes in life. I've made too many, right? Now, like you said, his competitive awareness, he's now come to it and said,
he's also like, I'm not going to go out like this.
That's not... Listen, if people don't... You've said it. Fergie was supposed to retire the season before, and we know what Kun Aguero did, the famous moment.
Yeah.
And he said...
Never like this.
He said... And by the way, apparently, it was ready to go for Guardiola or whoever was available then. And he said, I'm staying another year.
Let's go again.
And that's last minute with Aguero. He probably had. They were ready to push the button on Moyes or whoever.
Cheers,
was next.
boss. Yeah.
No, he said after Aguero scored that goal, not me. Ronaldo knows, and I have to take the credit for this. I was right. I was way ahead of it before the papers had said anything. I said this is not how it has to end for Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyone else, a mumish, not for Ronaldo. And hey, you said it. The competitive drive.
The dog in him.
Do you think it's something you can teach? Can you teach somebody to be like this driven? There is nothing you can give Cristiano Ronaldo. There's nothing you can buy him. There's no beautiful woman that can like that inner thing.
I'll tell you this: it starts from a young age, and you can mold it. You can mold it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when that person's an adult, they have to make their decisions.
Yeah. That fire. I mean, if we could bottle 10% of what Ronaldo has inside of him,
it would be.
He is a menace to society, dude. I can't imagine being his friend because I don't know if you saw the Patrice Evra thing when he invited Patrice Evra after practice. Have you heard the story?
Yes.
Yeah. Where he says, "Come on over," and Evra thought, "Oh, he said, come over for lunch," and Evra thought, "Oh, well, we're gonna just go there and eat." And before you knew it, Ronaldo said, "No, we're not eating now. Let's go do some keepy ups and do our thing quickly before we eat while the chef prepares." Like Evra says, and Patrice Evra is one of the greatest wing-backs football's ever seen.
You must hear Rio Ferdinand also speak about it. And also there was
what does Rio have to say?
Rio says that guy used to stare. He's like Ronaldo. Yeah, the talent and everything, but he says beast. And they say they used to egg him on. They say, "Yeah, Messi's better than you." He's like, "I'll show you." And then he used to say, "Oh, but Messi's not good looking like me. I've got it all." They asked him in an interview, "Why do people hate you so much?" He goes, "Because I'm rich, I'm good looking, and I'm a fantastic footballer."
That's not a hot take. Like so many people get offended by that. Everything he's said there is true. He is a fantastic footballer. He is good looking, and he's very, very rich. And he's just getting started. A guy like him, he's gonna open movie theaters after this.
Yeah.
He's gonna go full on Magic Johnson. But dude, I love Cristiano Ronaldo, but he has to leave the Serie A.
Yes,
Like-
it's not doing anything for his stock.
And also, again, what the hell is he doing against Brescia?
Exactly.
That shouldn't be happening in his legacy. Like his book should end. He comes to Man City and he's the first person to win a Champions League for Man City. You know what I mean? That's how Cristiano.
Then he has the whole city of Manchester like this.
Is he a villain at United if he goes to Man City and they win a Champions League?
It's purely a footballing decision.
He's given you too much, huh? It's like
He's done everything
for United.
at United.
So you as a United fan, you understand it.
No, look, I do understand it. Look, I'm not saying I'm upset, but like when he left on good terms. He doesn't,
Yeah.
slander United. He knows, you know what I mean?
He gave you that extra year.
Yeah, exactly. Looks at Fergie as a father figure, and bro, Ronaldo owes us nothing.
Who's number 7 at Man City?
Raheem Sterling.
Oh, you can't change the numbers in the season. Because I was about to say, you're getting nervous there as Raheem Sterling.
You must tell Raheem Sterling that, listen, bro,
Who's
don't register so soon.
No, oh wait, they do have a cutoff, hey, where you can change it in the season. Or have they started the season already?
I think so, but I'll find out.
CR7 0-0. Can you do 0-0 in the Premier?
007.
Yeah, CR7 0-0. That's what I get on. No 7. 0-0. The Alpha and Omega.
Oh,
He's the guy. CR7's the guy. Oh, if he comes to Man City, are you kidding me? Him in the blue kit, Grealish. Imagine how many posters they're selling, how many shirts. Every lady in the world. All the empty seats they keep having at the Empty
empty head.
Now you've got Grealish and Ronaldo, ladies, packed. Just 90% of the stadium female, which is great for football, by the way. Let's get that market in. Plus the lads who love football. Now it's Grealish, Ronaldo. Plus now they're giving you a hot
De
time.
Bruyne and Ronaldo, that's service.
Now what we're doing is Noisy Neighbours poster again. Imagine, with Ronaldo. And they'll do it. They are savages.
Makes me sick, but
It's the right way, dude. Man City's the only place. Chelsea are fine now because apparently we've got Romelu Lukaku, who's now better than Cristiano Ronaldo,
yeah, well, here's what it is.
Oh, that's sickening. CRC, it's going to happen, isn't it?
See.
Let's go. I'm all for
Alpha
it.
dog.
I'm all for it. And in fact, I want them to get Kane as well. Let's just play FIFA, man. Let's just do this thing, guys.
Career mode, PlayStation.
Let's just do it. Listen. If Sheikh Mansour has a cousin, you must come and also buy Pirates. And let's imagine you now seeing. Wouldn't you love Diego Simeone as the Pirates coach?
Hey,
Imagine, chief. Imagine. And you know, Diego Simeone is about that life. He'd live in Soweto. He wouldn't be doing this nonsense of being in the suburbs.
hey man, nothing's impossible, man. I mean, we have seedless grapes.
Guys, let the shakes buy it. We got seedless grapes. You're hearing my man here. You're hearing this. Folks, we've got plenty coming up. I like that. Anything's possible. CR7, must move. Serie A, a joke. The Premier League's the only place. All right, this is the MKT Show. See you in a bit. Like the Mac, you have returned. Let's go, bro. Like the Mac, you have returned.
Only people who listen to old school music get that.
Not enough people are doing that, eh? About Joe. That 90s Return of the Mac. No one knows what that is.
That must be Ronaldo's song.
Hey, like the Mac, I've returned. Oh, Return of the Mac, and he plays it. Oh my God. Man City play that against United when Ronaldo comes in at their stadium. Return of the Mac.
The disrespect.
Oh, let's go. Cristiano Ronaldo. Just, you know what? I might buy a Portugal Ronaldo 7 if that happens.
It's collector's item. You have to.
Man City, because I can't buy a City shirt. I mean, I'm not the devil.
Nah.
I'm not switching football clubs.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? Hey, lots of Man City young fans. Real thing? What's gone on there?
No, it makes sense though. But think about it, because, I mean, people my age, you expect them to support either Liverpool,
Yeah,
United,
yeah.
Arsenal, or Chelsea, because those were the teams that were doing well when we were coming up as kids, when we were growing up.
This is such an incredible point, which I hadn't even thought about. We're going to talk a bit of Arsenal in a bit. You've just raised an incredible point.
I mean, and then guys who are younger now, like teenage and stuff, you'd expect them to support like City or like PSG, because they're the guys doing things now.
You've just raised such a good point.
I mean, there's no Man City supporter my age unless they live in Manchester. It's all disgruntled Arsenal and Chelsea fans.
But to your point, have Arsenal just lost a generation of fans? This is what you're
Absolutely.
saying now. So you reckon
There's no swag about them. There's no like blockbuster signing.
because how do I get excited about Ben White? If I'm 16 and I'm on the gram, you know it's about that life now.
Exactly.
I'm 16. It's school on Monday.
Yeah.
Guys what United are talking about? Hey, Sancho.
Pogba.
We got those shirts, the swag.
Yeah, exactly.
Arsenal are bringing me what, a Ben White shirt. You expect your son or daughter to wear a Ben White shirt to?
The only reason that kids would support Arsenal now, it's like Liverpool fans my age, because their fathers coerced them into it.
You're not joking, right? So my cousin once came in it was a Pirates Chiefs game, and he came to the house, and my dad asked him to go home, but not joking. No. He had to leave and go. Yeah. He came in a Chiefs shirt. My dad said, "Go home."
Your dad is the guy.
No. He's not playing. So I understand what you're saying with the football. No, my dad doesn't play that. I want to play Chiefs.
I'm the same with Liverpool.
Yeah. It's not personal. Personal. But you just don't bring that Chiefs energy into the house.
The rules here.
I thought he was joking, by the way. No, told the guy. So you know where you came from. Here we don't wear that. Guy had to go home to watch the dub.
Your dad is the realist.
No, we don't play that. But to your point, it's such a good. Arsenal have lost an entire
generation of supporters,
and that's bad. Forget the football club for a second. It's bad for the business.
Of course,
it's just so bad for the business. And this is what happens when you don't understand the difference between maintenance and fixing. What Arsenal are trying to do now is to fix. Listen, it's like a relationship. Business is very similar. There's lots of parallels. Is when you're in a good relationship, you're maintaining the relationship.
Yes,
you don't want your wife
level. Yeah,
you don't want your wife ever coming to you to explain to you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah,
it must just be you guys are constantly talking about how it's going. You know what I'm saying?
Seamless.
But now when she has to come and say my mother was right, you know what I'm saying, my man? That's where Arsenal are.
Yeah, because they let it drop. Now they have to fix it.
You should be maintaining. I say none. All right, Sens, I'll ask you a bit of some questions and we'll go through it. But I want to kind of say this. All right? And we do this all the time. And I can only speak for men. And I can only speak for myself. Is that, the very end is getting married. But listen here. If your wife asks you for a divorce, right? Buying her a holiday, right, to Hawaii is not the solution. You're not solving, because what she's telling you is that we have a connection problem. It's not that I don't have enough money or I'm not enjoying our holidays and ski holidays that we've gone. But as guys, I know what I'm like is, you know what? Let me buy her a holiday and let's go to Hawaii. That's not solving anything.
Yeah.
You're not solving anything, right? And I feel like that's Arsenal Football Club right now. Is that, they've got so many problems, but they're getting Ben White when they had the third best defense last season. Huh? Since Patrick Vieira, you haven't had a box-to-box midfielder that would go into the Hall of Fame in the Premier League. Huh? So why do you keep, with all due respect, why do you keep buying Carsola and Rosicky and Ozil when you're scoring goals? That's not the issue. It's the least of your problems, actually. You don't have a leader and you haven't had a holding mid since Gilberto or Patrick Vieira. Again, if your wife says, I need a divorce, and you buy her a new sports car, you're not solving the problem. You're not listening.
How about you go to therapy? Counseling.
How about you listen to your friend?
What she's saying.
Yeah, your mom who's been saying, spend time with your family.
Exactly.
Stop drinking on Sundays. No, but you know how guys are, is, let me get her some flowers.
Absolutely.
That's not, that solve the problem. Stop
get to the root of the problem.
Dealing with the symptoms.
And which speaks to another point that you made about Arsenal. They still haven't replaced Patrick Vieira. And also, you've seen how much money they've spent. I think they've spent the most this window out of English clubs. And they are still not better.
How? Now ask yourself, it's exactly the symptomal healing, right? Is that, folks, you know how people want to do it now. We live in that time where, Chief, stop eating an oily breakfast.
Yeah.
Like you're overweight, stop eating an oily breakfast. Nah, I'll have liposuction. That's what, so you're treating the symptom and not the cause.
Exactly.
Put down the oily breakfast is actually how you live a life. Nah, liposuction, I'll just get the fat cut out. It's called, in medicine and science, we call it symptomatic healing. You're dealing with the symptom and not the cause. And what it tells you is Arsenal's not self-aware. Like Ronaldo. Like you said, they don't have that competitive edge. And I quickly want to run through what I think is a list of problems, and you can tell me if I'm nuts or not. But as far as I'm concerned, David Seaman left this club so long ago.
Yes.
Arsenal have had a goalkeeper problem. In fact, Jens Lehmann is the last time they were for real.
Yeah, Jens Lehmann was solid.
That's 2003, 2004. That's the last time, right? You had that, not a guy, the guy at keeper. Are you telling me in 18 years, Arsenal Football Club have not found a keeper? Oh, okay. Right back. I'm sorry. Now it's getting embarrassing. You had Loren at a stage.
And Bakary Sagna.
Are you telling me Hector Bellerin is the best you can do at Arsenal Football Club? And you're telling me you're replacing those monsters? Hector Bellerin is the vegan Hector Bellerin right now, who's about that soft life, is your right back after you had Loren and Bakary Sagna. Is that what we're doing? So right back's an issue, right? Left back's an issue, and I know people keep saying Kieran Tierney. I have a rule in sport. Injured young is injured old.
Yeah.
I've never seen a sportsman who's injured early in his career and that gets better. I've never seen it.
All we had to do was just look at Michael Owen.
I've never seen it. You've nailed it. I've never seen... There's a rule in football. Injured young is injured old.
And recovery time as you get older.
Kieran Tierney, I love you. I love you. I love the
Talented,
player.
yeah.
I love everything about him. I've seen 2 major injuries before the age of 25. Just, like, let's stop being silly. And Arsenal made this mistake how many times? Abu Dhabi, they kept him 2 seasons too long. I love him. Aeronautical engineer, by the way.
Jack Wilshere.
I was going to say, their golden boy, Jack Wilshere. They kept him 5 seasons too long. And
Van Persie to a degree at Arsenal.
yeah, I guess that's the anomaly, because that was worth it for 1 season where he got 31 goals. But this is what I'm saying. Aaron Ramsey was too injury prone. You should have let him go a long time ago. Actually, I know he got results for you and a couple of goals. But again, do you see what I'm saying? Is injured young is injured old.
Santi Cazorla.
Alexandra Pato.
Rosicki.
Injured young is injured old. They have a problem at left back. They're not going to talk about it because when you're desperate, you'll take anything. Kieran Tierney will not play 25 Premier League games this season. Not because I don't love him, because I've seen the record. At Celtic, he had a major injury, and we saw last season was a mess. So you have a problem at left back.
Find the physio.
You haven't addressed Arsenal. Maybe get a better physio. But since here's the problem we were talking about. For 15 years, you've had the same problem. You have not replaced Gilberto and Patrick Vieira. Arsenal doesn't have a problem with one central defensive midfielder. There is 2 central defensive midfielders.
Just that foundation, like from like the centre backs to like the number 8s and the CDMs.
Nothing, huh? Look, I'll keep talking through. I'll keep talking through these issues, and I'll come back to you now, Sense. You know, it's 2 central defensive midfielders that they have to replace, and it should have happened 10 years ago, but they still haven't replaced that. Let me tell you the other problem positions. Right wing. Since Alexis Sanchez, you have not had a genuine right wing. Bukayo Saka is not a right wing. What he is a baller. He's brilliant. But he's not a right wing. And right wing is a specialist position. It is not one of those positions where you can get a makeshift guy. Now, Arjen Robben, right, spoiled everybody. Because everybody now thinks if you have a left foot and you play on the right, you can just cut inside and do it. Arjen Robben is a once-in-a-generation talent. You will never... Listen, Robben was sensational. He could go left, he could go right, he could... And you know why Arjen Robben was so special, that he gets no credit for? Is he could take the knock and hold it up. It was really like having another centre forward on the right. Arjen Robben, Bukayo Saka, I love you. You are not that. You are not that. Since Sanchez, are you telling me you can't find another right winger?
Sanchez.
They haven't found one since...
But also, you even going far with Arjen Robben. Messi, guys.
That's true. Like, not everyone's that.
You know what I mean?
Not everyone's that. I'm sorry. You're not, like, so listen to the positions where they have problems. Goalkeeper, right back, left back, 2 central defensive midfielders, right wing, left wing.
But didn't they shell out all the money in the world for Nicolas Pepe?
They still have that problem because he's clear. I've seen 2 seasons now. Sorry. You know what? I'm this kind of guy. We go on 10 dates and you still have the same problems. I'm sorry, I'm out. I like to move on from people. Nicola Pepe, you know what you're doing there is you're chasing bad money with bad money. The guy's not good enough. Let him go to Everton and go and enjoy his life there. He is not good enough to be at Arsenal Football Club. Because I remember when Freddie Ljungberg was there. You must remember, I'm old. I hold Arsenal to the standard.
Obvious.
I don't hold them to Mumish.
I see. I can't believe this is the same club that went invincible.
What? So, not just right wing, by the way. Left wing's a problem. Martinelli's not a left wing.
Yeah.
Martinelli is their best option on the left.
Yeah. And he's a striker.
He's not a left wing. And that is a specialist position.
Yeah, because you need to be about it. Up and down. Keep it coming in. Take the occasional shot.
And then let's go to, they have a striker problem. Like Lacazette it's now 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I like Lacazette. He works hard. But you can go and work hard at Southampton. Lacazette just isn't good enough. Aubameyang, and I said it when he arrived, I'll say it again. You paid talent, not character. Look, unless Arsenal fans are telling me 7th and 8th is good enough, Aubameyang's not good enough. You know what he is? He's a Matt Letizia. You saw Matt Letizia, overweight all the time. He likes the comforts of Southampton. It's why we never went to a proper club.
Yeah.
Is that the talent is through the roof. But he
He's
doesn't take it seriously. He doesn't take it seriously.
Comfortable.
Because if Aubameyang took it seriously, you said it brilliantly. You know where he'd be? He'd be at Bayern Munich. Right? Because he was killing it in the Bundesliga.
Finishing it.
And we know what happens. As soon as you're serious at Dortmund, that like Erling Haaland, I think it might be this situation. Lewandowski's for real, but he's 34.
32.
32. So
going on 33.
Because Erling Haaland takes it seriously. Aubameyang doesn't take football seriously. So you have a problem there.
But you've seen though, as well, with Aubameyang, with Dortmund, everybody that he played with that was at Dortmund, when they leveled up, which club went and poached them? Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Mats Hummels.
Yep.
Marco Reus.
Yeah.
Not Marco Reus, sorry. Mario Götze.
Yeah. No, enough said. Bayern Munich, if you all you have to do, because they expect talent, if you take it seriously, come on. They won't let you leave Germany. In fact, I'm pretty sure they probably speak to Merkel. They say, this guy, if he goes to the airport, don't let him get on a plane because he's supposed to go to Bavaria. So you've said it there. But let's go through the signings that they've made, and I want to see if it's solved any of their problems. So let me quickly go through it again. The problems are goalkeeper, right back, left back, central defensive mid, right wing, left wing, striker. Centre back's not a problem. They had the 3rd best defense last season. So it was never a problem. But then they've gone and spent 50 million on Ben White. Has that made Arsenal better?
But now I can kind of live with that. Do you know why? Because that's to replace David Luiz.
That must make you sad. David Luiz was 35 and over the hill 10 years ago. I'm exaggerating, but he was over the hill 5 years ago. Are you telling me that's the standard at Arsenal now? Like, how much better is Ben White than Callum Chambers? Like, I haven't seen enough of Brighton. Yeah. In your opinion, how much better is he than Callum Chambers?
It's sad, bro.
It's so sad, dude. So I don't think they've solved the problem with Ben White.
At all.
For 50 million. Like, I hear what you're saying. You need to replace David Luiz. But you got Gabriel. You've already done that. You already had Saliba. What's going on there? Why did you spend 27 million on him and loan him out for 2 seasons? Did you make another mistake there? 50 million pounds.
But Paul Merson said, Arsenal legend, I think we got spoiled with Arsenal 20 years ago. Those days are gone. 2004 is gone. We're still living in the past with Arsenal. But look where they are now. This is Arsenal now.
That's the reality, huh? David Luiz is the standard. We got to replace David Luiz. It's absolutely incredible. So I don't think they addressed an issue there. I like Albert Sambi Lukonga. I like him. I like what I'm seeing there. I like what I'm working with. But for 17 million, you haven't addressed anything because he's actually not a holding mid. There's nothing about him that I say he's Vieira or Gilberto. He wants to get an engine room. He looks like a slick playmaker, kind of like John Obi Mikel. He looks like he's floating around, superb technique.
So technically better Xhaka.
And physically better Xhaka, can run as well. I like Lukonga. But you're not solving the holding mid problem. Like, in fact, you know what he looks like? Like another Partey. Like, I want to go box to box and I want to play. I don't know if you saw the Brentford game.
But the thing is with Partey, I think we're quick to this season.
Yeah.
Then we'll know for sure.
I'm not sold on Partey at all because
How did you feel about him at Atletico Madrid?
he was rotation. So I again,
Hey, but he had Saul and Koke to compete with him.
and the other thing that I want to be honest about him is that, again, same thing as Aubameyang, right? When he left, right? When he left Atletico Madrid, I didn't hear anything from Chelsea. I didn't hear anything from Bayern Munich. I didn't hear anything from Man City, which tells me there's something going on. And I said, this is too easy. Arsenal got it too easy.
Yeah.
And I think the Atletico Madrid guys, because we know what they do at Atletico Madrid. They have that, I forget what the coach's name is, with the famous preseason fitness testing.
Oh, yeah, it's Simeone's guy, yeah.
Simeone's guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they said, no, we can't work at this. It was too easy.
That's true, actually.
It was too easy. Bayern Munich didn't come. Chelsea didn't come. Man City, Man United, who need a Partey.
But even with Ozil,
It was because, you know why? Because Real Madrid said, no, we can't work with this guy. He's a handful.
but like from Real Madrid to Arsenal.
Because,
And you've won the World Cup.
let me tell you something. People don't realize this. The football world talks. They all know each other. I'm telling you, with Partey, there was something going on with the fitness or whatever. Atletico Madrid, who are the fittest team in Europe constantly, saw what was going on.
I bet now Arsenal fans are missing Giroud.
Oh, you mean the Champions League winner, Europa League final goal scoring winner against them in the final, by the way.
Because I'll stick my neck out. He was better than Lacazette is now at Arsenal.
It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. Big game player. And Giroud gives you what? Plan B.
Exactly.
What do I get with Lacazette when he's playing badly? When he's not finishing and he's off form.
I mean, look at France in the World Cup. They didn't start Giroud first game. And you could see, but then Giroud played.
Yeah.
And you could free other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind he didn't score and stuff like that, but he's also pivotal to what Mbappe and them were doing.
Do you know who Nuno Tavares is?
Sounds like a guy that went to St. David's.
Just a mate. Just
Portuguese
a
oak.
Just a Portuguese oak from the south. In South Africa, by the way, if people don't know. Like, why is he your solution at left back? What's he solving? What problem is Nuno Tavares solving? So there's another one. I don't get it. Tierney's injury prone. I don't get it. I want to know what problems are you solving. Now the interesting one, and you said yesterday, Martin Odegaard, but I went and had a look. Pepe really wants to play in the 10. That's where he played at Lille, or supporting striker. Right? Is you've got Pepe, you've got Saka, you've got Smith Rowe in that role, number 10 role.
Sure.
And with Odegaard, you came 8th last year, by the way. I watched that happen. That's not me making it up. What problem are you solving there? Because you don't really have a problem in the number 10 role, in my opinion.
True.
But I don't know. Well, what do you think? I like Odegaard. He's bringing a bit of leadership. He's obviously the Norway captain at a young age. But I don't know what problem he solves.
They should have believed in it more. Danny Ceballos.
And again, even if you get him, where would you play him? Deeper in the 8 or in the 10 role?
In the 8.
Okay, so then you are solving a problem, because that's where you're missing Xhaka, no athleticism, and you see now. Did you watch the Brentford game? In the Brentford game, Xhaka did the same old thing. He got caught on the edge of his own box in possession. Ceballos doesn't do that.
In the mud.
Hey, in the mire, as you would say, mate.
Because he's intelligent, Ceballos as well. You didn't see that this guy can play 8.
No, he's the Spanish. So probably go with him over Xhaka instead of giving him the captaincy and a new thing. Odegaard, I'm not sure solves a problem. He's nice, but I'm not sure he solves a problem. And then the one that's about to drop. So Arsenal did the most incredible thing. They sold Aaron Ramsdale for 30 million. They sold Martinez for 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
And Leno should have actually gone in that move. But now you're going to pay 30 million for Arsenal's England's third choice keeper.
Because, do you know what? They just got the Willock money and it's burning them.
It's burning the pocket. But in all of these that I'm saying, Aaron Ramsdale is not starting. He's not starting at Newcastle.
True.
What is he doing at Arsenal? So I told you the problems. Goalkeeper, right back, left back, central defensive midfielder, right wing, left wing, striker. They have not solved a single one, and they've spent the most money in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's tragic actually. I don't know what's wrong with these guys, But also, I would have believed in Willock more.
He scored 9 goals at Newcastle, right? And he only joined in January.
Yeah, and Newcastle was floundering.
He saved them. Like, what is happening at Arsenal? Who's telling Edu what to do? Who's there? Who's sitting there? Like, what do they talk about in the meetings? Can they not see that Tierney's injury prone? Can they not see that Ben White was at Brighton and you shouldn't be spending 50 million on a Brighton defender to solve a problem you don't have? Why can I see that?
The fact that they still have Arteta, guys.
After coming 8th twice. You know what they are? Arsenal are, I thought of a perfect example. They're Southampton with a budget. That's what they are. Red and white kit, good academy, and they make up numbers in the Premier League.
But my thing is, Yumba, when he was interim, he must have been like, what have I done?
What a mess.
This place is not the same.
Folks, let me tell you something. If your partner says, I want a divorce, you don't go and buy them a new car. You go to therapy. When you get stuff, it must solve your problems. Arsenal, it is pathetic. It is embarrassing. I mean, goalkeeper, right back, left back, holding mid, right wing, left wing, striker. They have a problem. They've not addressed one of those. Not a single one has been addressed. An incredible fall from grace. If you're an Arsenal fan, honestly, 10th. And it's happening this season. 10th is happening. They're coming 10th this season.
With no midweek commitments other than domestic cups.
As Senzo and his crew might say, they're in the mud, because Arsenal in the mud. All right, if you want the podcast of this show, it's called the MKT Show. You can get it on cliffcentral.com, the Cliff Central app, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. On the other side, we'll be bringing you a new feature with somebody who I'm very, very excited to introduce to everybody. We've got a guest on the other side. It has started again. What do you think of that? It has started again.
It has commenced.
It has commenced. That's probably better. But we'll workshop it. It has commenced. Because people are aware something stopped and now it started again, you know? It has commenced. That's the way to do it. Yeah, you've nailed it. That's big broadcasting. All right. Before we get to somebody who I'm super excited to bring to everyone, I haven't really asked you this. Your beloved Lebron James.
Yes,
So
sir.
I think he's never winning a title again. It's like he's got an old age home going there. Your thoughts?
We'll see how it goes. It's either going to go one of two ways, in my opinion.
Yep.
Either they're going to do really well, or it's just going to blow up in their face. They're going to implode.
Oh, it's a young man's league. LeBron, you need young guys. Russell Westbrook, I don't know.
Yeah, he's got the energy though, and he spreads the floor nicely. I only see Russell Westbrook play with the second unit,
Yeah,
and when they put KD on.
yeah.
I mean, not KD, AD.
AD, yeah. So kind of the second unit, let LeBron rest of those 37-year-old legs. Or however, LeBron's an old man now. Father time comes for all of us.
For all of us.
So, right, hot seat, LeBron title or not this season? You gotta have an opinion. Yeah, you see, the fact that you have to think about it lets me know that Carmelo...
No. But like, I'm thinking about those guys in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh, come on. That's a madhouse. They have to trade Kyrie. Kyrie Irving has to go.
But Russell Westbrook sounds gassed, eh? He says we're
he is.
going to show these MFing youngins
Yeah.
how we do it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, he had his chance with his own team.
Now LeBron
He
is
had the
saying...
chance with Houston. And all of a sudden now Russell's going to change and become a team player. Is that what he's saying?
Hey, bro.
Like, I want people to do well, but like, we are who we are. All right, let's ask somebody who actually knows what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing you now a man and an aficionado of what they might call b-ball. I don't think anybody says that anymore. I try to sound cool. You know, when you got a new friend, you want to sound cool in front of your own friends. 9 years head coach at the Santa Clara Broncos. ABC7 after the game co-host and analyst. He's now, of course, at Task Human and in the startup world. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kerry, the coach, Keating. Coach, how's it going? Yeah, you're doing all right there. You look very, very clean. Listen, I didn't think you dressed so well for us this morning. I don't know, did you get a haircut just for us? Coach, the season's underway. And I mean, obviously, it's the basketball. And for people who don't know who you are, of course, we're introducing you, and we'd like to have you on long term and do this new partnership. So first and foremost, I really, really want to thank you for joining us and waking up at this incredibly early hour. Coach, could you maybe explain to me what it's like to be a coach at the program you were at before for was it 14 years? Maybe talk us through that and let people know who you are.
Can you hear me? So just to fix this problem real quick, we're still live. I think he needs to unmute his mic.
All right. Coach, are you on mute? Before I let you keep going, are you sure? I think you might be on mute. Do you? It could be our side. Our technical team wants to take no responsibility. Let's see. We'll just see. All right. How's that sounding? All right. I'll tell you what, Coach. We'll give us 2 minutes, and we'll fix that on our side. We'll get our technical guys to fix that. Whilst James fixes that, it is an interesting year in terms of sort of what's going on in the NBA and all of that. Is people are getting paid as well. I mean, we'll talk about one guy that'll be close to the coach there. Is that, for me, it's such a crucial time for LeBron, and I hate to just use him as the only guy, but I just don't think Brooklyn's going to work, because I don't think any of those three they only want the limelight when things are going well. Like, LeBron's great skill is that he holds it together when things are going badly.
Yeah.
I don't know if KD said it himself, I just want to play basketball.
No, but listen, KD in the playoffs, he did it, bro. Even that series where they lost.
Yeah.
He was elite. Remember, he was playing, there was no Kyrie, and he was playing with a disabled James Harden.
Okay, but now I have to say I watched LeBron James against the greatest 73-9 dynasty go and absolutely decimate that and turn it around. I don't want to hear about Draymond getting suspended. It's like, KD, are you that guy or not? You know what I mean? So you're a KD guy. Do you think he can hold it together the whole season?
He needs help.
More help?
He needs help.
How much?
Look, if everybody stays fit, Brooklyn do it. But you must remember, they did. I'm not saying, I'm not taking away from the Bucks' win, because you have to beat what's in front of you.
Sure.
But KD was playing by himself, and look at his performances in the playoffs against the Bucks.
Okay, so here's my thing. I've seen James Harden get numbers. Where does like it's not enough.
He has to change his game. Sacrifice.
I've seen Russell Westbrook on his own get numbers. It's not enough.
But what has like you've seen Westbrook ever since KD left, he's just become only known for triple doubles now.
That's what I'm saying. For KD, I feel like it's just numbers. It's like
It's a team sport, guys.
does he make his team better? I've got no problem with KD
Well, we'll answer it now.
because
At
now
the
he has no
Lakers-
excuse.
At the Lakers, we'll answer it now. LeBron James, basketball IQ out this roof.
Yeah,
AD, come on, man. The brow's the man.
and the injuries.
That's the only thing.
See, I get worried about guys and their injuries.
Because that's the thing. Because now LeBron should be giving the mantle
Yeah,
to AD. AD should be carrying LeBron
I got you.
because he's in his prime.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. Can't
And-
be expecting a aging LeBron to be carrying AD.
Yeah. And that's where we are right now. So you think Brooklyn are a real thing? Like honestly, I don't even count Brooklyn.
You'll be silly to write them off. Just look at the pure talent. You know what I mean? And you've got two guys
Yeah.
that have been there and won championships.
Now,
And they've done it in clutch moments. Because it's that Kyrie shot that wins Cleveland that championship. And KD, I mean, his 2017 finals performance.
I like what you're saying, but now you know what? It's nice. It's all nice when LeBron is there, Steph Curry's there, Klay Thompson's there. I'm saying, KD, you're on your own now. You wanted your own show. Plus, he picked to leave.
Sure.
So I don't want to hear excuses.
And he was winning.
So now what I'm saying is now it's up to him now to be LeBron James. Now there is no Steph Curry to hold the glue together.
Sure.
There's no like Klay Thompson. Because what he could do,
Clay's the man.
Klay could have better numbers by probably 10 extra points. But he takes it upon himself to say every game, I will guard their best player.
Exactly, because the thing is, we know Curry, he can't lock people down.
Yeah.
So what Clay does is like, listen, I will lock it down for you.
Yeah.
One of the best two-way players in the league.
Yeah. Dude, it's what a thing to look forward to. All right, I'll tell you what, let's take a break, see if we can fix the audio issue with Coach, and we will come back on the other side. Okay. So let's get now.
Yes. Hello? Hey. That's me. So I'm pushing
Okay, so we
signal.
should. Okay, so there should be a sound level regardless.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, time wrong.
So we should be getting some from him. We must also check things like these that
All right, we have returned. Apologies about that, Gremlins in the system, but we are officially back. As I said before, we are joined now by former head coach of the Santa Clara Broncos, ABC7 after the game analyst, the one and only Kerry Keating. Coach, how are you? All right. It is great to have you on. We had audio issues, but we've, as every good team does, is if you lose a game, you go and troubleshoot in the locker room, and you come back a better team. So hopefully we've done that.
Sure, we'll get to the fact that all these NBA players are mad about 2K ratings more than their preseason ratings in actual reality. So I'm excited to
well,
describe
there's the
that.
coach in you
Raising
coming
two
out.
kids too.
Is all right. I mean, let's get straight into it. Maybe we quickly run through who you are, what you've done in the world, and I mean, for our African audiences, I'm really excited to introduce you to everybody on our side. So let's quickly run through that, coach, and sort of where you are right up to now.
Yeah, I got started coaching basketball at a young age. I was fortunate to spend 25 years coaching Division I college basketball, as we say over here, and had a good run with a lot of good players over that quarter century. And it led me to have a chance to be a head coach at Santa Clara University, home probably most famously known as the home of Steve Nash. Before that, Kurt Rambis, for the old school folks out there, also another former Bronco. And we did well. We won 2 postseason championships. We recruited a lot of great players. A lot of the all-time great scorers there are our players. Left the place better than we found it, hopefully. And it also gave me a chance to kind of thrust myself into a second career in entrepreneurship and technology, where I'm currently at, bridging those 2 worlds, while in between serving as someone who thinks he knows what he's talking about, or at least acting like he knows what he's talking about on television out here in the Bay Area. And caught a great run with the Warriors. I was able to work with Larry Beal, a former ESPN anchor, who's now the anchor at ABC 7 in San Francisco. And we're going on 5 years hosting a post-game show after Warriors games on ABC in the Bay Area. And of course, during 4 of those 5 years, 3 we were in the finals. We actually had a great run. So great visibility, great exposure, but also a great insight into the team and a little bit of how they've been able to grow that Warriors franchise from where it was to where it's astronomically now.
Now, that is an interesting thing, because very few of us in sort of the history of mankind and forevermore will ever get to sort of harness that kind of synchronicity, that type of energy, and have it sort of work. And I don't know if you caught any of the young guy I'm with here, Senzo, saying KD is somebody to look out for at Brooklyn. And my argument was, you know, when you've got it humming with Steve Kerr and you've got kind of that base with the selfless people, I mean, you've obviously got probably the greatest shooter of all time in Steph Curry. And then you've got probably, I don't know, you'd probably be better placed to tell me, maybe the second greatest 3-ball shooter of all time in Klay Thompson, who's willing to do all of the sacrificial things. And that allows KD off the leash, because he doesn't need to go and answer the media. He doesn't need to put up with any of the flack when it's a bad game or any of that. Do you think that had a role to play, having those sort of leaders? Could you talk me through having sort of Steph and Klay to help great superstars?
Yeah, it's interesting how it even came together. You know, KD's such a unique individual in and of himself. Regardless of basketball, he's very different. He's very focused on, he just wants to really play. He's kind of, in my mind, trying to be on the fence of that great player that he is, but also the persona that is so desperately sought after off the court by all these superstar players. You know, the league has become so much more team focused from a fan standpoint, and it's very much player driven. Again, we mused a little bit in the open about the 2K ratings that are now available for criticism on Twitter, and the metaverse that's developing for these kids to live vicariously through their Xbox and PlayStation. But there's a connection, and the reality of it is not just in the video and the graphics, but the reality of it is, and Katie actually came out and said, I work really hard. I should be a 99 ranking, not a 96. He really doesn't care about that, but he has to care about it. And I think he doesn't really want to, but he has to. So it creates for KD this sense of awkwardness. It's really funny that we chose the picture that we did to promote my appearance here with me and KD at KD's fantasy camp 3 or 4 years ago, where I was fortunate to be the MC. It was an adult fantasy camp with 40 grown men over the age of 35 who, by and large, play basketball, paid a pretty hefty sum, all of which went to charity, which was a great cause, to play basketball for 2 days and get some time to hang out with KD in the Warriors practice facility. And that picture that was there was when KD first showed up. And you would think a guy in his position with these people who obviously in pretty good positions themselves in their own right would really want to just touch each and every one of them. And, and eventually he did. He just came right in the gym and grabbed the ball and started shooting like he was one of those guys. Like it was his camp and he wanted to be there, but just got this sense like he just wants to hoop and he's kind of doing these things because he has to. So what it leads to is this weird dynamic when the business of basketball crosses over actually into basketball.
Yes.
And it's beyond just the contract. Now you have to be a part of an ecosystem and a part of a team, which he was. Now keep in mind, there's a little bit of a side eye from Warriors fans that, Steph should have been MVP of one of those finals, but
yeah,
KD's that guy, comes down, dribbles in, hits the big shot. I mean, this guy is rightfully so deemed one of the greatest scorers ever and probably could transcend a lot of generations. But this generation is just so different in how they're going about their business and how much money they're getting to do it. So it creates this weird dynamic to kind of really get inside the head of guys that don't let you get inside. And then, truth be known, we have a new media form with Draymond now, and now he and Draymond sit down, and all of a sudden it finally comes out. Well, it was Kerr and Meyer's fault that you left, and I agree. And it's like they can say what they want because now they're deemed as credible media sources too, because that's the actual source. So there's just so much going on. And can he win in Brooklyn is really all we really want to know.
I mean, it's been a great story. You're a great storyteller. All I want to know is, can he hold it together? Can he hold Kyrie Irving? Will Kyrie Irving go on a Zoom meeting with the lady from Sex and the City, or will Kyrie Irving actually come to practice in order for them to actually go to the promised land?
Hey, look, it's amazing that Russell's now with AD. Look, go back to Oklahoma City. KD, Russell, and James Harden, all as young players, talented in their own right, even at that level. The dynamics obviously didn't keep it together, the financial constraints, but now we're back in that position where they're being at the back end coming together. I mean, if those three guys had just stayed the whole time in Oklahoma City, we wouldn't be talking about the Lakers and the Nets. We'd be talking about the next championship that the Thunder would be winning this year, because they certainly would have at least one, if not more. As it pertains to Brooklyn, it's just a strange combination. Time has passed, players have matured, grown, developed their own brand, if you will, and you have three really dynamic individual brands that I'm not so sure can mesh as one. Steph and Clay can mesh with anybody, and that's not to criticize that Kyrie couldn't mesh, because he did with LeBron and to a lesser extent Kevin Love.
Yeah.
James Harden hasn't really found that yet and got himself to a finals consistently, right? And now you have him running around with the baby in Paris, and you got KD, running around wherever he is in New York, and who knows where Kyrie is? It's like a game show, and now they have to come back together. And of course, a guy that I'm somewhat familiar with coaching them, and Steve Nash, is about as low key of a guy as you can get. Is maybe what they need to let these guys cook. As Kyrie said, we don't need a coach anyway.
I love what you're saying there. Let me quickly take you back to what you were saying, because. By the way, I got a young kid called Senzo in the studio here. He loves KD. I know you have some history with all of these guys, and I know you have history, of course, with your time at the Rockets with James Harden. Just your time in terms of, I want to go back to something you were talking about in terms of KD, and I don't want this to become a KD bashing session, but the reality is this, and I think you said it. They've transcended being basketball players. They are now official brands, all three of them, and we've seen everything they say. We've seen the furor globally. Is that, Oklahoma was a different time, because everybody told me that James Harden and Russell Westbrook were best friends, But what happened was they were taking, in my opinion, that Oklahoma, and I see you shaking your head, but at Oklahoma, there were little kids that were grateful to be in the NBA. Now, James Harden, as you say, I'm going to dribble all day, all the air out the ball, and I'm going to shoot from wherever I am. I'm James Harden now. You're lucky to play with me, and I think KD is very much that personality. And I wanted to ask you, for me in teams, and you've been a coach, is we are who we are, and all three of these players have shown you that they are so incredible solo acts. But I've seen KD twice now without proper leadership, and I saw you. I mean, we cannot forget 3-1 up, right? You had Steph down 3-1 at home. That was you. Take us to the promised land. Are you the guy or not? And then I've seen you at Brooklyn. Am I being unfair to say that James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and KD are phenomenal solo acts, but it takes more to win?
I think it's spot on. I mean, let's not get too out of the weeds here and overanalyze it. They are very dynamic individual basketball players. The American game, and I hate to say that because it's really a universal game, but as far as the American players being raised in this game, I was raised in the generation before, and maybe prior to that, in a team-taught setting.
Yeah.
They're being raised in an individual taught setting, and it's going in reverse. These three guys are, in my mind, three of the best examples of what the talent that's available can get to at the highest level, and they deserve that. Kyrie may be one of the greatest ball handlers ever. James Harden may be just dynamic in his own right because there's really nobody like him. And his body style, his left-handed, his footwork, he's a great passer. He was not always like that. He developed into that based on his basic talent. But I think your point is well made. These are three very individually dynamic talents that in and of themselves can be the lead dog in a team and have shown that on different teams. When you compare that maybe to Steph and Clay, who are individually talented in their own right, but really don't need the ball to be that effective all the time. And that's not to say that James and KD and Kyrie can't be effective without the ball because they know how to play, but they're not as effective without the ball. And when you have three of them together like that, it very much becomes a one-on-one type game all of the time. And you're relying on those three guys to be on for themselves all the time. Steph and Clay and Draymond, by comparison to that big three now, they don't need the ball in their hands all the time. So the onus is on the rest of the roster to step up, and that's a little bit of a difficult charge. This is what front offices would think now. Yeah. Are we better served to think that we can get 90 out of Kyrie, KD, and James, all things being equal at the end of the season, everybody healthy? Or can we get 75 and find Joe Harris and see if he can get us 25 once in a while? That's kind of what the Warriors are now going through right now, and it's very difficult to do both. There's no really wrong answer in the whole thing except really what comes up at the end of the season and who was right. Now you turn around and go and see what happened in Milwaukee, where they didn't necessarily go out and get guys. They brought one in, and another guy I was fortunate to get to know in Drew Holiday, but they developed with Middleton and Giannis. So you have to have three guys in this league right now. Now, sometimes you're lucky to be four in on a good level, but I don't know if Brooklyn can do it. I don't think Brooklyn, in the end, will be able to win 28 games at the end of the season. I just maybe 27, but I don't think they'll win the 28th.
Look, by the way, I got a young kid in here, Senzo, who's bursting to ask you some stuff. So I'll let him ask right now. I just want to be clear right now.
Because he thinks they can win the 28th game, probably.
Well, I don't know. It's like you said, it's a different generation. Yeah. You know, he's 5 years younger than me. Yeah. It's about, who's got the latest shoe deal. I'll let him speak for himself. Is that I'm totally with you. All I am saying is, in life, as I'm getting older, I'm 35 now. We are who we are, and I mean, you've coached at the very highest level. I just don't see, and I haven't seen any evidence of these three on their own. Because it's great to be great on your own, but winning takes a little bit more. But okay, I'm out. Just so you know, Brooklyn, I say no chance. I think the Bucks beat them again. That is my call now. But Coach, I want Senzo to ask you a few questions. Senzo, what you got, pal?
How you doing, Coach?
Great to meet you.
Likewise. And just to put the record straight, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm not saying that the Brooklyn are going to win. I'm just saying that you can't write them off because that is one of the most dangerous offenses we've ever seen assembled. But then to speak again to your point, as you were saying, you said it perfectly. It's because the Warriors and Steph and Clay, they are two of the most selfless teammates and superstars that have ever been around. And I think that also speaks to what Steve Kerr has built and where he comes from as a player. Because he played with Jordan and you had to know your role and was very team orientated under Phil Jackson.
The interesting thing about Steph is, and even Clay to a lesser extent, they didn't enter the league with the level of expectation or hype, even though Steph was a lottery pick. And keep in mind, he was a lottery pick, and Minnesota took 2 point guards right ahead of him, and Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio. So it wasn't like everybody was sold on going to get Steph as a potential point guard. And he had injury issues also in the beginning with his ankles, that there was questions if he was going to make it. He's getting better. He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. I think Steph took advantage of the time off from his injury and obviously not being in the bubble to really refine his body and get ready for this next push, knowing the big contract was coming, which he obviously deserved and just got because he wants to stay with the team till he retires, and he's got now 4 or 5 more years left to do that, of security, but also physical security, hopefully. It's so difficult to get it right in this league. You know, it's always been that way. There's a litany of guys that were drafted in positions that were ahead of other guys that developed. There's always going to be a guy in the draft, whether it's later in the first round or even in the second round, that everybody has hindsight expertise on. Oh, he should have gone number one. How many times do you see that? The redraft of this year, 10 years later, which is just, you know, content feeding and letting arguments happen.
Hey, we need it. We're in a content game. We need it.
What's interesting you think about that, though, is it doesn't always mean that you can just take a talent and plug it in. So you can't just assume that all things that have to happen right with Russell are automatically going to happen because you take his talent and plug it in. We kind of just talked about that with the Brooklyn Big Three.
I mean, just
you
look
know,
at what
AD
happened
is
with
a different guy. LeBron is. We could talk forever about where he's come from and what he's done and what he is. Russell's going to have what's not going to be spoken about Russell is that he's going to have another motivating factor to take all of the negative energy in that universe around the narrative of, is this going to work? Because the Lakers are expected as a franchise to be in and win championships. He's going to have a different type of motivation. Understand something about Russell. This is an LA kid. This is a kid that was not on the map as a young kid. He earned his way into where he is. He did have an innate ability to kind of, you know, harness negative energy and turn it into a positive. None bigger than the fact that he lost his best friend, who was unfortunately passed away before they graduated high school. Wow. And it fueled him at an early age to dedicate his success and his track to Kelsey, his best friend who passed away in high school.
Sorry, Coach,
when he got
I got to say, while you're saying that, I know you and Russell have a bit of history. So, I mean, you know, just to give a bit of context, maybe you can give us just a bit of history on you when you actually dealt with him for the very first time.
Yeah, so I got a chance to see this because I was actually monitoring his best friend when I was an assistant at Tennessee, because his best friend, Kelsey Bars, was a little bit of a better player at an earlier age. So when the recruiting list comes out, his name showed up, not necessarily Russell. When I got a chance to see Russell at a camp while I was watching Darren Collison, who I also got to go to UCLA, I kind of noticed Russell. And when I followed up on the fact that he's in LA and saw that no one at a really high level is recruiting him, I thought it'd be a great fit for us. We were able to get him into the fold, albeit late. Developed a very strong relationship with his high school coach and his family, and a level of trust that we could help him get to UCLA. And as I was saying, when that happened, the motivation was no one really expected me to be at UCLA. Even though we got him and he came, we weren't like, just to set the stage here, I was in the middle of spending what would have been 4 years recruiting Kevin Love in high school.
Wow.
4 years. Recruited Russell for 4 months. So I've never said this before, and I'm just in hindsight thinking, like, if I'm
Breaking
Russell
news.
and seeing what he's doing, He uses that. He never said it, and I don't even know if this is how he feels. But I can tell you, as it relates to what's going to happen this year at LA, because I guarantee you this will happen with the Lakers this year. Anything that's not out there, that's obvious for everybody, which is plenty now, he's going to harness that and turn that into positive energy. Everyone's going to try to figure out a way why this won't work. But now, on top of that, he's back home. This is a kid that if you dream to go to UCLA as a young kid to play college, you've accomplished that. You're an LA kid. Now, now you're a Laker. I mean, he never would have ever thought that would have happened because he's obviously said in the past he never thought he might ever play in the NBA. Now he's a Hall of Famer. It's going to be very difficult if he stays healthy and all things are equal to beat the Lakers because he's going to will them to some wins this year. And that will because of the talent of AD and LeBron, get them back to the finals. It's a matter of who steps up in the West, and if the Suns and the Jazz and the Warriors are capable to overcome that rage that Russell's going to bring at times and key times during the playoffs.
Yeah, hey, LeBron's getting old now. Probably needs a little more time in the sun. I do love LeBron James, but Father Time comes for all of us. Coach, you touched on something there. You know, outside of America, we only ever get it through 30 for 30 documentaries, and the big networks kind of tell us a little bit of how recruiting works. But I have always been fascinated by books, and I've read, countless books. And I have to say this, but Nick Saban for me is, I call him Saint Nick, is that I'm so fascinated by how that whole recruitment, which you've just said, the recruitment, how does it actually work? So let's say, imagine me, obviously about 5 feet taller, and I'm Russell Westbrook. What is the process as a recruiter in college? Because we never on the outside get to hear about this. What do you actually have to do? I'm really, really interested in that process.
Yeah, from a basketball standpoint, because football is a whole different animal.
Yeah,
American football.
Yeah, a college basketball
American
recruiting.
Football, not real football. American football.
Well said. Yes.
Nice one.
Yeah. Speaking of, I hope we do get to the real big three too at some point, because I'm really keen to figure out what the expectations are of those guys at PSG. As it is, it's going to change a little bit as we move forward. But from where I came up, you basically are at a high school, you're playing basketball, and maybe your high school coach is inclined to have relationships with college coaches. And, by and large, you're going to be in a locality where maybe some of the local schools will see you, but maybe you're not. What has evolved over the last 2 decades is this ascension of the AAU circuit, the summertime, the non-high school circuit, if you will, where this organization is able to compete with teams that are put together from other states, other cities, other schools, and they go on basically a 2 to 3 month tour of tournaments where coaches are allowed on certain weekends. And unfortunately, it should be the whole summer, but they have to limit the amount of times. And they go and play in these competitive tournaments that, for the most part, have been dominated by the shoe companies, if you will. It's and as a coach, you're just evaluating if they can play. You're at an early stage, you're figuring out, can they play? Now, once that's established, now you go to work as an assistant, as a recruiter. You dig in the weeds as to who's the decision maker, who's helping him make the decision, develop the relationship, encourage them maybe to come on campus, share mutual information. You're in relationship business is really what it comes down to. But you're also looking for fit. You're looking to see if it fits your roster. It's not like in free agency in a one year deal in the NBA. You have to do this over a course of time, because kids are expected to be in school for the most part 4 to potentially 5 years, unless you're dealing with those rare occasions where kids come and leave early to go to the NBA. So you're into relationship developing. You're also into helping your head coach be set up to coach this young man or woman, whatever it may be, to be a part of the bigger picture. Grab a great education. Finally, now they're able to earn money outside of this opportunity with the name, image, and likeness opened up for them to control that and have that money go back to them in part. So the ecosystem now is changing, but that's really the basics of it. Now, I'll tell you this, it can get a little nutty. All right, and I was just reminded quickly to bring this up, which is a great example because I wouldn't have thought of this because I did it for so long and went through so many different things. There was a 6'10" kid. I'm just going to use just one example of how recruiting can actually formulate at the very highest level. I'm at UCLA. We wanted this kid from Seattle, Washington. His former neighbor, became the head coach at Washington State. So now you have that dynamic, and there's a very strong relationship. But he was a big fan of the movie Elf. And I don't know if you guys have seen
Will
that
Ferrell,
movie.
are you kidding me? Get out of here. Get out of here. Will Ferrell at his best. Are you kidding me?
I reconstructed the scene in Elf where Santa was coming. And I reworded it into this young man's name. His name was Josh. We have these home visits. They're home visits where you literally go into their home at a certain time and you have a living room. You're in the living room. You're trying to close it. After my home visit was over, I came back. I told the dad I was going to do this. I wanted to surprise the kid just so I knew they'd be there. I left and got changed into the elf costume.
Oh, my God.
I came back to the door, knocked on the door. He had Josh open the door, and I recreated the whole Santa's coming scene with Josh's coming.
Oh, my God. So that's the level
so
it
you
goes
can only
to.
imagine all the other kind of crazy stuff you have to do. Because here's the thing. You're always recruiting 16 and 17-year-old kids. Yeah. So as you get older and as you go through the process, as you like to say, you're still going to recruit the same mentality every year of maturity. It's not like, oh, I've been at Santa Clara for 10 years. Now I get to recruit a 26-year-old kid because you always have to stay in the mentality. You have to stay young. You have to stay relevant. And you can't take yourself too seriously because they're kids. You don't want them to be intimidated and overwhelmed. You want them to feel comfortable. But as a coach and as a head coach, matter of fact, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take this back 1 second. That's not when I was an assistant at UCLA. I was the head coach at Santa Clara doing that.
Oh, my goodness. So you were the big honcho.
I was the head coach doing that, not the assistant trying to think. This is me as the head coach dressed up in an elf costume. The whole getup, the green suit, the belt, the hat, the whole deal. The shoes,
that's big coaching.
Everything.
That's big coaching because coaching starts out, no big deal. You went out there. Hopefully you got the kid. That's...
Look,
wow.
It's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. Yes. We didn't get the kid.
Oh.
He ended up going to Washington State.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. At least you got a nice suit out of it, and here we are.
Oh, I got a built-in Halloween costume every year now.
There we are. Coach, I got a couple more questions for you. We've got about 5 minutes left. Obviously, with us being in Africa, and Coach, I really hope I've really enjoyed this, and I hope we can have you on regularly because it's been incredible. I just want to ask you about one of our very own, and I say that as the African continent, Joel Embiid. There's a special connection for you actually from his developmental phase, and you can take us through the whole story of how you were connected to his college days, but also, I mean, he just got all of the money that's ever existed before in Philadelphia is now in his bank account, and boy oh boy am I delighted for him. My only question, Coach, and I'll let you kind of take it away, is number one, I love his ability. I'd love to know, how do you get to somebody like that once you've paid him to say, all right, Joel, this is the time to start taking it more seriously, because we've seen what he's done with the lack of conditioning and the diet and all of those sorts. I'd love to hear your thoughts and history with Joel Embiid.
So he got the bag, as the kids like to say.
Oh, yeah, he secured the bag.
$271.
And it's a big one. It's a big one. Good for him. So I get a phone call from one of our former players at UCLA, Lutenbad Mute, who had a camp over in Cameroon.
No big deal. I see how you just dropped that name there, Coach. No big deal. I like how you just dropped that name like, oh yeah, just an old mate, an old maca.
So Luke calls me and says, Coach, I need a place to put this player in the States. He was at my camp. He's coming over. Is there a good high school prep school you think would be best for him? Now, clearly, I'm head coach at Santa Clara thinking, okay, I already had another Cameroonian, albeit not of Joel's ability, but certainly of his ilk and stature. Those guys are as solid as they get, very respectful of the fact that they respect the education and the opportunity. And Yana Katanga was one of those players for us, helped us win championships at Santa Clara. Now, Luke calls and says Joel needs a place to go. He ends up going to Montverde Academy in Florida, coached by a legendary coach, Kevin Boyle, who was a high school coach in New Jersey up in when I was at Seton Hall. Coached at St. Patrick's, coached a lot of great players at St. Patrick's School in New Jersey. Well, Joel ends up being who he is, more than just pretty good, obviously, right? Ends up going to Kansas, where my father had just worked for the last for 16 years. He was the assistant AD in charge of basketball there for the team in Kansas. So we had a family connection, and they got to know Joel as well. Unbelievably interesting personality. I don't know if this was documented as much as I think he represented himself on this last deal too, which is another thing that's interesting also in terms of the level of accountability that someone who helps you secure that bag is going to hold you to. Like, I'll say this about KD. Rich Kleinman is his business partner. I'm sure there's some level of accountability that Rich holds to KD for all the things off the court to get him on the court. I think there's a great relationship there that probably works for those guys. And they do things together in business and 35 Media. But if that's the case with Joel and no one was there to help him, even though he got it done successfully, you have to take the under in the fact that he's not going to play as many games in year 4 as the millions he'll earn. I think that's an automatic take. He'll play under 52 games and earn 52 million in year 4.
Guaranteed, by the way. Guaranteed. He's getting all of that money.
That's a hammer lock right there. Take that one to your bank.
So that I mean, phenomenal character, phenomenal guy, and Coach, you know what? It is like we got so many stories to tell. I cannot wait to have you back on soon. And I got you up early in the morning. By the way, you look good considering it's 7 a.m. there. I just want to tell you that. I don't know what it is.
The kids get us up and going. They're back in school, so they got me going early.
Coach, before I let you go, I just want to, you know what? You're a married man. How many kids do you have, Coach?
2 boys, 9 and 11.
2 boys. All right, I have my director has been known and confirmed by all of Africa as the least romantic human being in the history of mankind. And now, as somebody who is married, could you maybe just give him one piece of advice? Jimbo, I'd like you to jump on the mic and maybe hear from a legendary coach who's actually done something in his life and actually convinced a lady to marry him and also have 2 kids. Just one piece of advice. What would you say is if he wanted to take his lady on a romantic date, do you have a recommendation? Because he is the least romantic human being. His girlfriend has said this. This is not alleged. This is from a reliable source. Many would say the girlfriend in question.
Treat her, because she always will be, like she is the head coach. You will never be the head coach on that team.
I love the sports analogy.
All right, Jimbo, I'm not sure if you got that, pal.
I did. It's top quality life advice, and I'm gonna live by it every day of my life. I promise.
Coach, Coach, I just want to tell you right now that is a bold-faced lie, because I gave him a romantic idea and he immediately told me to get out of his face. This is the kind of help that I've got. I feel like Michael Jordan, you know what I mean, without Rodman. That's what I feel. I got to carry the whole organization.
You can only do what you can do and let everyone follow along.
Greatness isn't for everybody. Coach, it is only the beginning. I cannot wait to keep bringing people more great content. We had so many stories, but I look forward to having you on hopefully next week, and we keep the ball rolling, because that is a bad pun, but it is something I'm really looking forward to exploring and bringing to our listeners and your followers, and I'm grateful and humbled that you were able to join us this morning.
Looking forward to changing size of the pitch next week.
Hey, all right, we'll get to the PSG and that big 3 in the football next week. Coach Kerry, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that is what we're going to do. You know, not a national show, not a sort of continental show, across the shores. Hey,
Jeez, man.
Sin's a real deal, that guy.
Nah, you saw in his photo, casually fist bumping KD.
No big deal.
It's crazy.
No big deal. By the way, his father,
exactly, bro. It's a dynasty.
Yeah, my father was looking after Joel Embiid. Like, no big deal. We
at Kansas.
No big deal. You know what I mean?
Athletic director.
I recruited Russell Westbrook. Nobody else was going to take him. He was the guy that, okay, let's get that guy at UCLA. That's the real deal. But that's what we're going to bring you. So we are hoping, Coach will be with us weekly from now on. The updates from America. Hey, if you're at home, maybe you can tweet us. What do you suggest we call the segment? You know, coming to America. Eddie Murphy's already taken that. But you can tweet us at Cliffsy Sport. Do you have any name suggestions? Maybe we take the suggestion, and maybe there'll be a prize. I don't know. I can't guarantee anything.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. That's the world we live in. James, by the way, being given romantic advice all the way from America. Will he take it? Probably not. Ladies and gentlemen, I am MKT. This has been the MKT Show. But for now, we are the hell out of here.